Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I know a lot of you have been searching for the 2023 version of the Land Rover Discovery Sport. So today I'm at Land Rover of Shreveport. This is the 2023 Land Rover Discovery Sport. It's the R-Dynamic SE, and we're gonna see, is it worth a sticker price of $60,860? It has an exterior color of Hakuba Silver. Hopefully I said that correctly. I'm sure if I didn't, somebody will let me know in the comments. The interior is ebony duo leather with Mars red stitching. And I really like that because the red really separates things out. And I like the fact that it's not just the stitching, but the piping as well. Everything looks very nice. So let's take a look at exactly what you're going to find if this is something you want to buy. As we take a look here from the front end, if you're saying to yourself, I would like to have a Discovery, but honestly the Discovery Sport maybe fits my budget a little bit better, it's really more of what I need. I don't need a larger SUV. Well, you're still going to have the same basic look here on the front end of what you would on the Discovery as opposed to the Discovery Sport. We're going to have the premium LED headlights with the signature daytime running lights. You can see that everything really flows nicely, as you can really see how the flow of the daytime running lights works its way into the headlights right there. And then if you're wondering what is this is part of the cold climate package. Those are the high pressure headlight washers. That cold climate package will also include the heated windshield and the heated steering wheel. I'm just telling you about what is here, even though it seems very strange to bring up the word heat when we're headed for nearly 100 degrees today in Northwest Louisiana. And like I mentioned, this is the R-Dynamic SE trim level, so you're going to have the R-Dynamic logo there. The lower grille is going to be in gloss black and have gloss black surround, and we'll also have the gloss black upper grille with the gloss black Discovery lettering. I always wonder what your thoughts are, just interesting little things to consider. You have the raised lettering for the word Discovery here on the front of the hood. Would you rather see that sunk in, or maybe even just vinyl lettering? I think the vinyl lettering is really kind of a cheap way to go, so most likely that's not what most people are going to say. You will find this model is all-wheel drive. Let's talk a little bit about tire and wheel size. Very easy to remember because the width is 245, the sidewall size a 45 series, and wrapped around those 21-inch wheels. And those red brake calipers really help things to stand out. You're going to find the Discovery logo stamped here on the side of the front fender. Now the vent right there is really a faux vent. It's not active. But one thing that is active that I know a lot of you like, turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors that do have the gloss black mirror caps. You're going to have your blind spot monitoring and all those great safety features. And while I'm thinking about it, because I know, again, you like to see it, here is what your remote looks like, at least for 2023. Little chrome on the side, the Land Rover logo right there on the back. And by the way, one thing I did want to show you about the functionality of the side view mirrors. Another common question, are they power folding side view mirrors? And you can see that yes, they are. You will have gloss black that works its way up onto the roof, also with the shark fin antenna, and finishing things off nicely here with the rear roof spoiler. That gloss black really makes the rear privacy glass look darker than it really is. A very nice look here with the tail lights. Everything very clean back here, as you don't have the exhaust protruding out through the rear of the vehicle. For me personally, that's not a big deal, but some people like that look. They like that clean look. Again, our Discovery logo will be here and the Land Rover logo as well. Under the hood is the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes a plentiful for the power to weight ratio of what we have here. 246 horsepower. The torque numbers come in at 269 pound-feet. And it's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. And how about those all-important MPGs? Well, you really get a good thing here with not having an overload of horsepower. 19 city, 23 highway, 20 combined, and 5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles you drive. And if you're curious, let me walk around over to the other side where you will find the gas tank. Within the confines, as I open the gas door right here, One thing I like here is the fact that you do have just a regular gas cap here, no capless fuel fill. Something that some people don't seem to like as much is that capless fuel fill. And what will you fill? A 17.7 gallon gas tank. If you are interested in towing with your Discovery Sport, you can tow a rather plentiful 4,409 pounds. That's not too bad considering that the Honda Ridgeline, which is a mid-sized truck, can tow up to 5,000 pounds, so not much of a difference in that respect. Quite a bit going on back here in the rear cargo area. We'll have a USB port right here and a 12-volt power outlet right there. You're also going to have the cargo cover that can be put in place here if you want, or if you would like to completely remove that, it is removable. We've got quite a bit going on here in the way of space. Cargo capacity comes in at 32.7 up to 55.6 cubic feet. And before I show you how to maximize that, I want to show you something else here that is of great interest, I know, to owners and potential owners. Yes, there is a spare tire here, all the tools necessary to change that. No tire repair kits. That is a win, at least in my book. And then we're going to come right here. We're going to push down on that button right there, and we can lower the seat. You can do this on both sides. And we took a look into the interior earlier to take a look at the colors within the interior. Now let's talk about functionality. A nice large door bin here for rear seat passengers. Nice comfortable armrest with soft touch materials. If you do the armrest test, it does a lot better job than just poking the armrest like that. And you're going to have the cup holders back here in the fold down armrest for rear seat passengers. A little bit of storage space within to hide some snacks and whatever else anybody can fit within that area. And dual air conditioning vents. And I'm just going to show you what's here, even though it seems totally unnecessary at this point in the year with the heat outside. But we do have 3 levels of heated seats for both outboard seats. Rear air conditioning vents here for your rear seat passengers on the rear of the center console. And what about connectivity? Quite a bit in the way of options back here. We're going to have the USB port, another 12 volt, and then another USB port option there. So plenty of space back here, storage space within the rear seat pockets. Probably won't call those map pockets anymore because, well, the maps are on our phones instead of in the rear seat pockets. And there is a panoramic sunroof. I had the shade drawn forward earlier in the video so you didn't see that. But one thing about it, it is a solid piece of glass, so it isn't actually going to open, in my personal opinion. That's not a bad thing. If you're going to have a sunroof, it's better for it not to open because you don't have to worry about wearing out the gasket and it eventually leaks. If you want to know about build quality on any vehicle, just open and close the front and rear doors. These doors are rather heavy, especially the front doors, and when they close, they don't sound cheap. And obviously, that's because they are not. Not much of a difference here on the front doors compared to what we saw on the rear doors, maybe a little more space within the door bins. You will find the R Dynamic logo there on the door sill, and then power seats for the driver and the passenger. Both are heated, not ventilated in this case. We could really use the ventilation option here in Northwest Louisiana today. A lot of space within the glove box. And then let's take a look here. Let's get that out of the way. You're going to have your wireless charging pad down here and another option of USB connectivity, as well as the shifter being a conventional style. No push button shifter here. I think that will be popular with a lot of people. You do have some gloss black up here in the front seating area, quite a bit, and a lot of space within the center console. And you might say to yourself, well, that's not really enough space. Well, guess what? You can make more space. It is doable. Quite a bit in there when you remove the cup holders, if you want to do that. And as you can see, even more in the way of connectivity with USB options right there. So there are quite a bit of USB ports throughout the vehicle. And to draw that shade forward for the sunroof, that is what this button is for right here. Pretty easy to figure out how that works. And obviously here on the driver's side door, we're going to find a few more options as far as buttons and switches go. You can control those side view mirrors in all 4 windows here. You can also lock or unlock those windows. And you do have seat memory here on the driver's side. For the sticker price of this model, I really believe that you should have seat memory on the driver and passenger side. But you know what? I'm not building these vehicles. I'm just telling you about them. that will give you an idea of what's here. We'll hit push button start, and I am so glad to get the air conditioner going here in this vehicle. You can take a look at what we have on the dashboard there. Now, you might wonder about that flickering effect. That has to do with the GoPro shutter speed, so it has nothing to do with Land Rover, just so you can see what is there. Nice large shifter paddles to work your way back and forth through the 9-speed automatic transmission. Here's the control for the front and rear window wipers, and right here the control for not only the headlights but the blinkers. Do you know what blinkers are? Some of you don't, because I've driven around you and I know. It's okay to laugh. I'm just giving you a hard time and having some fun. Your steering wheel mounted controls, and as you can see, those are digital because they're blinking again, but you know why they're blinking, as they are. And the 10-inch Pivi Pro, I really like this infotainment screen compared to what the previous generation was. Obviously, you have built-in navigation here. That is a benefit, a multitude of options there as far as what it will do for you. You can pair your phone and all that good stuff, and let's take a look at our camera views. As you can see right here, that is going to tell you what your different camera views are. And all you have to do is just touch each area of the screen, depending on what you want to see and what view you want, how close you want things to be, whatever the case is. And you can see there's a lot here. You can go and take a look at what the vehicle is capable of, what it's doing. If you want to see what's going on, if you go off-roading, which you can do, there are capabilities for that. No, it may not be able to keep up with some of the larger Land Rover vehicles, but it will do the job and do it just fine. And we'll also see our vehicle dimensions. If you want to know what your vehicle dimensions are, well, there you go. If someone happens to ask, hey, what's the dimension of the size, I should say, of your Land Rover Discovery Sport? So you can see what all is here. A pretty simple system to use. Like I say, it's a lot easier than the previous generation. You only have one screen here, as you can see. So really kind of compact, not too much, but enough to definitely get the job done. And then we're going to have our dual zone climate control down here, as you can see. And if you want to turn on the heated seats, all you have to do, like you saw, all I did was just push on the knob right there, and you can control it right there. Now, it does not have ventilated seats, unfortunately, but it is what it is. If you want to change the fan speed, you just push the fan button right there, and then you're going to rotate the dial right here. We're not going to leave that on for long or make it too terribly high, but just to see what all is here, pretty easy to figure out. It's a very simple system to use, that's for sure. And obviously, the only thing we have left to do is get out on the road and see what it's like to drive this Discovery Sport. One thing before we get out on the road for our test drive that I did want to show is that we do have the nice head-up display here, in case you were curious about that. And you do also have the parking sensors as well. I don't know if it'll give me the indicator. There we go, just so you can hear it. Another feature I forgot to mention. Okay, now that we're out on the road for our test drive, I don't know if I've done this before in one of these Land Rover models of any type we've done in the last few years here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, but I'm on a stretch of road where I like to test the road noise and give you an idea of what that sounds like. Keep in mind, this road is kind of overkill for something like this, so it may sound really bad, but I can tell you, based on my consistent experience of driving this road in a multitude of vehicles, it's really not too bad. But I'm just going to let you listen for a little while in both lanes. We're doing 70 miles per hour right now. Now, I know that might sound like there's a lot of road noise, but on a road like this, it's hard not to have a reasonable amount, a decent amount of road noise. It's really not that bad in most driving situations, and I don't know what it sounds like off of my lapel mic. So, as I said, based on my experience, it really isn't too bad. It's fairly quiet in here, and I don't have the air conditioning up on high. The fan speed isn't very high. I think I have it on the second to lowest setting. Nobody to talk to, not on the phone, and not listening to the radio. So it's very quiet in here, in other words. And that's so that you can have the best experience audio-wise with the video. So what is it ultimately like to drive the Discovery Sport? Well, It's an enjoyable vehicle to drive. It handles extremely well. It's nimble. It's really solid for big city driving. If you don't need a large SUV, this would really do a good job for you as far as the overall driving experience goes. And I'm just going to ease into the gas a little bit here and put this 2-liter 4-cylinder through its paces. It definitely gets down the road with absolutely no problem. In fact, let me clean the windshield off for you just a little bit there so you have a little bit better view. It is a little dirty, so we'll try and get that done real quick for you. But as far as the overall experience, it is very enjoyable to drive, and we have the road crews working here as far as working on the electricity. We had some very bad weather come through recently, and a lot of people still do not have power, so we're going to go around those guys real quick. But a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. And while you have really what amounts to the latest in technology from Land Rover here, it's not difficult to use and it's not difficult to learn for you people who maybe haven't had a new vehicle for a long enough period of time to have not had anything like this in your vehicle. And we're going to slow down just a little bit up here, even though I can see pretty well, just to make sure, not only to keep these guys safe, but also to help avoid any issues with any oncoming traffic. None there, but let's see if we can squeeze on through up here. Kind of an interesting experience. I almost should have done a video driving around town to show you all of the damage. It was extensive. But overall, I really like these Discovery Sports. They do a good job for the right people. You can definitely get up and get around with no problem and go wherever you need to go. Like I said, it does have a little bit of off-roading capability, which is a good thing. It may not be as capable as some vehicles, such as the Land Rover Defenders and all that kind of stuff out there, but it does help out in the snow. You know, all-wheel drive, if you live in an area where you get a lot of snow and ice, this is a great vehicle for that. Going up a hill, just like we went right there, in a rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive vehicle, that might not go as well as it would in this model with all-wheel drive. So a lot of benefits here. And as you can see, I told you, there was a lot of damage, a lot of trees down, a lot of people without electricity. Kind of an added bonus in today's video. If you knew about all the storms that came through northwest Louisiana a couple of days ago or so, well, you might have heard about some of that. Now you get to see some of it. Not that I intended that, but since we're on the test drive and we're having to take this particular route, well, there you go. And because I didn't have the headlights and the daytime running lights on earlier, now you can see what those look like. Yes, again, that flickering effect that you see is purely due to the shutter speed of the GoPro, a very common issue with these GoPro cameras. So tell me what you think. This is what you get for a sticker price of $60,860. Is it worth the sticker price? Always curious to know what your feedback is and what you think. Are you planning to buy a Land Rover Discovery Sport? Are you going to buy a 2023 or wait for 2024? I'm curious to see what you have to say. I have to say a special thanks to my friends here at Land Rover of Shreveport for loaning me this model for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.